Okay. Happy Wednesday, everybody. First off, I want to say thank you for taking this time to come and tune into this workshop. I know that time is very precious. It's a very limited thing. And to be able to take time away to come and you kind of know what I'm going to talk to you about, but also not really. So that faith to come in and just hear what I have to say is super appreciated. And I'm very grateful that you are donating some of your time to me. Um, I think that everybody that is on here right now knows me, but a couple of people that are going to get the recording aren't quite as familiar with me. So I'm Trisha. I am founder of Rise and Thrive Coaching Ltd, which is brand new and super exciting. After 2 years of having a heavy focus on mindset work with my health and fitness clients, I decided that it was time to create my own custom programs, and being able to offer people something that's more of a life coach focus as opposed to the fitness aspect is going to really change the game. So Five to Thrive was born, and it's been a very exciting month with launching everything. And tonight, I wanted to be able to bring some free resources to you guys because I truly believe in paying it forward. So tonight, you guys are going to learn how simple it can be to take control of your time. I want to show you guys how to make time for you in a day and how you can finish every week feeling accomplished. And this is the kicker, without relying on energy or motivation, because those really are the pieces that everybody is I wish I had your. And it's really, I'm going to show you guys some of the hacks that I use on the days that I don't have motivation. And it might be hard to understand that sometimes I don't have energy, but sometimes I don't. And these are the things that I rely on. Very hit or miss. Before I forget, I really like paying it forward, and offering this free workshop is awesome, but I also like doing giveaways. I like thanking you guys for giving me your time. So if you just snap a screenshot of the call, or you can take a picture if you're on your phone, you can post this into your Instagram stories. Make sure to tag me, because that's how I'll see you. And I will be sending out a $25 gift card before the call is over. So make sure to stay on until the end, because I will be doing the draw for that. Very exciting stuff to get to hear your name live. It's also a perk to being here live and not just getting the recording. So I really I appreciate you guys donating your time to me tonight. But let's get going, because time is precious. So I want to hear from you guys in the chat thread really quick. What is the one thing that you feel like you never have time for in a week? At the end of the week, you're like, didn't have time for it again. Myself, life, friends, meal prep, going out to do fun things. Enjoyment is a big one. Myself, recovery. Those are some big ones. Reading for fun. Yes. I really like, a lot of us, I think, read for personal development, and we forget that there's fiction. Fiction still exists in the world. Recreational activities, more meal planning. These are some incredible things that a lot of us are missing. And why on earth is this stuff that is so near and dear to our hearts? Because everything on here for you guys, this is all for you, right? Why is it so hard to make time for that? Why at the end of the week are we just man, this didn't happen again? Number one, we're going to start with the biggest load of bullshit out there. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Nothing grinds my gears more than hearing somebody tell me that my 24 hours in a day, with my husband and kids to help, is the same as Beyonce, who has a chef and a maid and a personal trainer, and somebody does her hair every day. Our 24 hours are not the same. And within our own house, my 24 hours are not the same as my husband's 24 hours, right? When I'm in the kitchen cooking, the kids tend to be there asking me, what's for dinner? How much longer is it going to be? What's that smell? Why are you putting those vegetables in the sauce? I can see that you're blending them up. I'm still going to be able to taste them. And I'm just like, cooking takes every cell in my brain. And the kids are just there, like, nagging and adding to it. Whereas my husband just cooks meals that the kids like. And he doesn't get that, like, constant nagging and those constant questions. So even just within our own household, that 24 hours doesn't look the same. The only factual aspect to that is we all get 1,440 minutes in a day. That's it. We have the same, like, minutes, but they don't look the same at all. And when people say, well, we all have the same 24 hours, they're minimizing the work that you put in. And that's the first thing that makes us feel like we're failing as far as time management goes. And then if you're a mom, society decided that for whatever unknown reason, we're going to be held to the same standards as our great great grandparents that were stay at home moms in the 1920s. So today, moms are held to this, like, super high expectation that even outside of work, you should still send your kids to school with homemade muffins for breakfast. And they should have garden fresh veggies that they have helped you grow because you are ever so patient and have all the time in the world to grow those things with them. And you'd better make sure that you're sewing their Halloween costumes by hand because everybody's got time for that. And then on top of that, we're left sitting there wondering why we don't have time to just pick up a book, to just have 5 minutes for ourselves, is because outside of trying to keep the kids happy and the house spotless, we don't have a whole heck of a lot of time left over. And then if you want to get out of the house with a friend during the week, it's almost impossible because the expectation is put on you that your kids should be in any activity and every activity possible, which for most of us, if you have multiple kids, results in 5 different nights a week because the kids are never in the same activity. They're never on the same day. You can't even just, like, stack it up and say, Monday, we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off and get it done and over with. No, the clubs have all decided to spread it out so you have no time for you. And if you're lucky enough to have a kid in hockey, you're going to be at the rink every other weekend. Like, sometimes every weekend, it feels like. And then a lot of us, we want to work out. And what are we told? Somebody wrote a book called The 5 a.m. Club. And now everybody tells you that if you want to work out, you better get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So then when you don't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you literally start your day already feeling like, I don't have time for me. You already start to feel like you failed in that department, right? And then it's not just moms that struggle with it. Moms are not the only busy humans on the planet. If you're not a mom, I think a lot of people make the assumption that you are just available for any and all overtime shifts at work. Does anybody experience that? Like, you're just looked at and you're like, I'm not working. Like, people just assume that your time is less valuable. I mean, all you want to do is participate in your own hobbies or finish your renovations. Like, who has a half finished kitchen right now? Or just room in general? I feel like half finished kitchens are the shittiest though, because you're literally just, like, turned completely upside down. You're left feeling guilty if you turn it down. Yes. Keep getting asked why you don't take the overtime. Yes. All of this, right? People just assume that because you don't have somebody that needs you to wipe their boogers, that you're just available all the time, right? Like, you're allowed to want to make memories and spend quality time with people that you did not birth, right? Like, you're allowed to do that, but apparently because you don't, like, your schedule is just viewed as flexible as Elastigirl. Like, ebbs and flows because you don't have tiny humans to take care of. And then when you do finally get time off, you have time. Technically, you have the time in the day. You look at it and you're like, I finally have time to finish the kitchen. I have time to call my friend and go out. But then you're also hit with this wall of, I don't know the last time I stopped. And it's just like this rock meet hard place moment where you have the time to go do the things, but also you just want to rest. And it feels impossible. We have all of this bullshit stacked up against us and everybody's external opinions around how we should be getting things done. Because everybody's the expert, right? Everybody has a professional opinion on how you should be getting through your days, and nobody else is walking in your shoes, right? Nobody else sees what your day, like minute by minute, literally nobody in your life is going to see what every single minute of your day looks like. Because hopefully some of us are at least getting like bathroom breaks in privacy. Maybe you get the like 2 minutes alone in a day. But most of us don't have somebody like hot on our heels all day long. They don't see what it's like for you. And it can feel impossible to add yourself to the to-do list, because that's all it is, right? We're just like day in, day out, checking things off. We just want to check the boxes. And unless somebody wants to add 5 minutes to that 1,440 that we all get, like it's just not happening, right? So it can feel really hard to even see how anything for you is going to fit in. Also, I'm super thirsty because I'm behind on my water today, so I'm going to take a few water breaks and just catch my breath, because I'm always so excited to talk to you guys. I want to take you guys on a little ride, and you're going to see the pun is intended. So I want you guys to imagine that you are driving to work and you see that the car is at a quarter tank. And the funny thing about this is that there was a reason that this analogy was kind of sparked in my brain. You tell yourself that you're going to fill it up after work because you still have like 200 kilometers to empty. By the time your shift is over, the wind has started and the rain is just like pouring down. And I don't know about you guys, but when the weather is shit, the last thing I want to do, even though the gas pumps are covered, like especially when it's windy, everything's just blowing in and you've had a shit day, like the last thing you want to do is stand outside and put gas in the fucking car, especially when it's not empty, right? And even worse, if you live in the north, when we get to the cold weather and it's snowing out or minus 30, like you can throw literally any shit weather situation into this. You immediately tell yourself, I don't have to fill the tank today. I will do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and work is fucking shit. Also, I'm sorry if anybody's kids are around, I curse. It happens. Work sucks. You're short staffed. The computer system is down. And whether you deal with clients or patients or just your coworkers, whoever it is that you're interacting with in a day, they're assholes today. For whatever reason, everybody's just in a fucking mood and it just piles onto you. The last thing that you want to do at the end of your shift is go deal with more people and more technology, because nothing grinds my gears more than going to use the like pay at the pump because I can reduce my people interaction and it doesn't work. And then now I have to go and deal with the cashier that's been dealing with grumpy people all day. It just kind of stacks up. And all you want to do is just go home, put on your jammies, throw on an episode of Friends or Family Guy or whatever you guys kind of watch for like your brainless. I don't know, what does everybody watch these days? Like I don't know. Because Dan and I have been watching Designated Survivor, but that's not my like come home and have some comfort time. That's like we're addicted to it. Star Trek, murder shit, yes. Big Bang Theory is a great one for brain dead. Like, I just want to come home and laugh. Like, those are great things that a lot of us are like, I would rather do that than fill up the car. And the next morning, you wake up and you tell yourself, I have to fill the car today. I don't know who else does this, but I talk to myself out loud. Yeah. Because if I say it out loud, I'm more likely to remember. And if somebody else is around, I will tell them. Lucky for me, Zoe holds me very accountable. I will normally tell her, this is what we need to do today. But you're confident. You're like, I rolled out of bed and I remembered that I'm going to do this today. And then you get to your lunch break and you sit down and you pull out your phone. And for whatever reason, you decide to look at your bank account. And you have some money in there. Like, you're not sitting at zero, but you also know that you don't have enough to fill the tank all the way full. Thanks, inflation. Like, this is getting old. But the first thing you say to yourself is, well, if I can't fill the tank all the way to the top, I'm not going to do it today. Like, tomorrow's payday. Why would I do it today just to have to go back tomorrow to finish filling the car up? Like, I will wait. Thank you. Just see where 30 gets you. Yeah. It sucks sometimes because 30 is what, like 10 liters right now? It's like, it's a joke. It's brutal. And then you get to payday. You wake up and the kids are already telling you before you've even gotten out of bed that they don't have any clean socks or underwear. And also there's no milk for cereal. And they really want cereal this morning. Like, they're like, I don't want toast. I want cereal. And they're having a meltdown. And it's just like not going good. And then you go to pack lunches and the Tupperware. I don't know if anybody else deals with this, but every time I open the Tupperware drawer, like everything, it's an avalanche every day, every time. Just without fail. And now you're running late and you're frazzled because you literally woke up to chaos. And you get in the car and the fuel light's on. And you're like, shit. I knew that I needed to do this. And it still just like hits you like a brick wall. And you can feel your patience, just like you are skating on thin ice. And now the kids are fighting in the back seat because somebody's sitting on the wrong side, or somebody stole a cup holder, or whatever they've decided they're going to fight about in the morning. And then it's inevitable. Like, how quickly do we get short with them, or our loved ones, or anybody else around us? You know that it's not their fault that the tank is empty, but it still happens. And a lot of us are doing this in our day-to-day life. We can see when the tank is starting to get empty, and we know the things that we want to do to fill that back up. We want to read for fun. We want to find something that is joyful. I almost said enjoyful. I'm going to make up words tonight, you guys. We just want to do something fun. Even sometimes meal prep is that thing that is going to fill our cup back up, because maybe you know that you haven't been eating enough this week. I will never tell anybody, like, the eating poorly thing needs to go. Sometimes some of us are just not eating enough, and that is where meal prep comes in as genuine, like, self-care. You are showing love for yourself. We know that we need to call a friend, and it's just not happening because the day was kind of inconvenient. And like, the tank's not all the way empty, so we can do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow, everything has stacked up again. And it's genuinely hard to fit in that 5 minutes. And then the next day you're like, I want to sit down. I want to read a chapter. I just want to read a chapter in my book. And before you know it, it's like 9 o'clock and you wanted to be in bed 15 minutes ago because maybe you work a stupid early shift. And you're like, I can't read a whole chapter in 15 minutes. I don't know, maybe you can. Like, I'm a slow reader and some chapters are big, but you ask yourself, like, what's the point? I'll just wait until the weekend. I've got some extra downtime and then I can read the full chapter. Like, if you can't do it all, what's the point? If you can't make your meals for the entire week, like, what's the point? And it's so easy for us to start running our tank on empty because things are not convenient and our fuse gets short. We take it out on our loved ones. And this is the most important one. We take it out on ourselves. Like, what do you do when you get to that point when you're like, shit, I knew I needed to do this? And then you're mad because you came up with all of these excuses, because sometimes that's what they are. Sometimes things genuinely happen that stack against us. And we're like, damn it, I knew I should have did this earlier. But you beat yourself up about it, right? Setting small goals, Becca, yes, 5 pages, 10 pages at a time. Honestly, sometimes like one paragraph is enough. because you still sat down and you did it. What I want to share with you guys is how the all or nothing mentality can literally plague every area of your life, whether it's self-care or completing projects. It's easy to initially tell ourselves we still have time. I'm not out of time yet. I can do it tomorrow. I can do it this weekend. But then life decides to throw an entire bucket of lemons at us. Like not one, not two, just the whole bucket. Just toss it at you. And before we know it, our tank is completely empty and we didn't even realize that we got there. And sometimes what happens is like we start skipping sleep or we skip a meal so that we can fit in that time. Like it's a really common thing to get to Friday and be like, oh yeah, I can stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning. That way I get like 6 hours of catch up time with my friends. And then now Saturday, you're short on sleep. So like you're trying to fill your tank, but then you're emptying it in other places, right? Because we have this like big picture of what we want to do. And if you guys don't learn how to master your time, you're going to end up on this rinse and repeat cycle week after week after week. And you are never going to make it on your to-do list. Like you as a person, that quality self-care time for you is never going to get there. But if you can learn to master your time, you can eliminate burnout, you can ditch the overwhelm, and you don't have to give up a single thing on your to-do list. I don't know how many times in my life since I was 13 years old, I was told you just have too much on your plate. You just need to take something off. And nobody stopped to teach me to just fill my cup back up as I went. Nobody stopped to teach me about self-care or how to avoid the burnout. Like, you don't always have to take things away to make time for you. You can learn how to ebb and flow, and really abandoning that all or nothing mentality is going to be the thing that creates this for you. So what I want to do for you guys tonight is I want to share my favorite time-saving hack. But I want you to promise me one thing, and I want you to all put it in the chat thread that you're going to promise me this. I want you to actually give it a try. Because I don't want this to just be another, like, I don't want this to be like a wasted hour of your night. I don't want you to get off this call and be like, I came and listened to Trish and I feel really good tonight. And then tomorrow morning, it's just like chaos. We're gone out the door. I want you guys to see the benefit of this because this is something that really is like near and dear to my heart. This is what changed my life, especially in the last 2 years. I have been the busiest I think I have ever been in the last 2 years with the most amount of chaos. And this, like when I come down to the basics of it, this is what has saved me. I'm really happy to see that you guys are all making this promise. I'm going to hold you accountable to that, by the way. I'm going to be checking in tomorrow and probably Friday and maybe Sunday. So this is what we're going to do. This is not going, disclaimer, this is not going to like cure your problems. It doesn't mean that things are not going to be stressful, but the difference it's going to make is how you handle the chaos. This is really going to help like up here above all else. And it's a remarkably universal formula. Like anybody can do this, whether you're a mom or not, stay at home working, like you could be a potato on the couch. I don't care. This is going to change your life. I don't know if anybody else brought a pen and paper tonight. I'm using a couple of email systems. I might not have sent the planner to everybody. Did anybody get the planner? Okay. I might have only sent it. Yeah, okay. That is. So I sent it on one platform and I forgot to send it on the other. I will send it tonight. But you guys can just grab a pen and paper and jot this down really quick. And I'll type it in the chat thread as well so that you guys can kind of copy it down, because I know that sometimes I talk fast. The first thing that you are going to do when you sit down to plan out, you can do this daily. You do not have to plan your week. I'm emphasizing this. You guys listening to me, I'm looking you in the eye. You can start doing this daily. Don't go big or go home. Okay. If you've been time blocking and you just need to make some tweaks, you can definitely like just plug and play. The first thing you're going to do is write out the things that you cannot change. My fingers are cold because I'm in the basement. I can't type very fast. So what do I mean? The things that we can't change. We can't change our work schedule. If you have a doctor's appointment, lots of kids activities, like I can't change that Zoe skates Mondays and Wednesdays at 3:20 and she's not off the ice until 5:30. Those are fixed in stone. Those are the only things that I would write on my planner in pen, just to put it into perspective. The second thing, this is one of the most important ones because a lot of us, I find, no, sorry, I squirrel sometimes. The second thing you're going to write is the things that have to get done. Oh my God, I can't type. So these are the things that are on our to-do list, but they don't necessarily have a fixed time. And I don't know about you guys, but these tend to be the things that get forgotten about until it's too late. Things like renewing insurance. How many of you have walked past the back of your vehicle and you're like, fuck, it expired a week ago? Amy. Booking the dentist appointments. This is something that like I kind of do. I do it when I leave so that I don't forget, because I was always forgetting. Or ordering the Halloween costumes because nobody has time to sew them by hand. Also, it's the end of September. You should order them now so that it's here in time. Forgot to register for 6 months. Oh my God, Kiri. That's a record. That's a great free 6 months. I don't know. Legally, I probably shouldn't clap at that. Just kidding. Really funny story for you guys. This is where I'm going to do a quick little side tangent here. This is where I'm going to paint the picture that this is not like a perfect little cure every single time. Last week, I initially planned to go get our hunting licenses done on Monday. That was the intent. I don't even remember what happened on Monday that it didn't happen, but the rest of the week went and we got to Friday and we were leaving town a bit late. So we went to the gun store in town at 6 o'clock at night after the government offices have closed. And Dan went in and registered. And so we had to go in one at a time because the guns are in the truck and the kids, whatever. Dan goes in, he's like 20 minutes. I go in, I have to wait behind somebody else. That was like 20 minutes. I get to the front and my BC residence has expired. I didn't know that that was a thing. Every 3 years, you have to update and say like, I still live in BC to be able to get a license. So I got to go to hunting camp this weekend and not actively like participate, which hurts because I'm sorry if you guys aren't hunters. Dan and I are both very competitive. And if there's a slew of grouse, that's probably not what it's called. We see who can get the most. And it was kind of a bummer to just like sit in the truck and be like, I found one, like go have fun. Yeah, I want to get them all. and we're fairly competitive about it. So I tend to win. Don't tell him, but I do. So it's not like it doesn't always happen. It's not foolproof, but it's definitely helpful. It would have been beneficial if when Monday it didn't happen, I wrote the next day that I intended to do it. That's why it got left into the last minute. And then this is the third one. And this is like the most important one. You are going to write out the things that matter to you, not to your loved ones, not to your friends, to you, whatever those are. And then the fourth thing you're going to do is you're just going to sit back and admire how much free time you have, because it's incredible when you sit down and you write this out. you realize how much free time you actually have. Because a lot of us try to multitask, me, and things take a little longer than we anticipated. And before we know it, an activity that when we time block, we can see it only takes an hour. When we don't time block, sometimes it takes us like 2 or 3. Because that's the thing, is if you give somebody this much time, they will take that much time to do it. I don't know about you guys, but like in high school, you could be given 3 weeks to write an essay, not touch the fucking thing until the night before, and you whip that shit out in 20 minutes. But you probably did it super stressed out because you took all that time, even though it just this little bit. So being able to see that space for downtime can really help us to get through our days, because I think a lot of us, and I might be the only one that struggled with this initially. Sorry, Kim, I'm gonna call you out every night, every time you come to these. Oh, my train of thought went away. That's okay. It's not important. If you can see that you have downtime coming up, it's a lot easier. I don't believe in like pushing through everything, but if you're like, man, I just really want to hit the couch tonight, if you can see that like you don't have anything else booked tonight and you can deal with the 15 minutes of filling the gas tank in your car, it's a lot easier to see that like, okay, if I do this, I have downtime after. It really makes a big difference in how you view your days. It also sometimes can be that thing that gives you an awareness that like, oh, I do have downtime. Learn that. Yeah, timers are a game changer. It really makes a big difference if you could be like, all right, we're gonna get shit done. So what I want to share with you guys is, beyond this, I want to help you guys design a flawless routine, one that you can finally feel confident in your ability to move through life's chaos. Because it can be really easy to write these out and you're like, okay, well, I can do that this week. But what happens if I'm going to take things to the extreme, because sometimes that's where our brain goes. What if a family member passes away? Now what are you supposed to do? Like somebody took that bucket of lemons and chucked it at your face, bucket and all. Now how are you supposed to do this? So I want to be able to share this with you guys so that you can create the routines that are going to carry you through those seasons and still not experience burnout and overwhelm. It doesn't mean you're not going to feel the feels. Those feeling your feelings, like when you're sad or you miss somebody or grief or like stress, those are different than like complete burnout and overwhelm, that like just exhaustion, the feeling that like you just want to hide away. I always, when I was getting overwhelmed, I always felt like, I told Dan, I was like an ostrich. I just wanted to bury my head in the sand. If I just did that, then I could pretend that everything around me wasn't going on and just absolute chaos. And I know that, like, if you're watching me today, if you know me today, it might be hard to see that I used to struggle as hard as I did, because I used to struggle so hard to make time for myself in a day. And a lot of that came from, I was the easiest thing to put on the back burner because I was the last one to complain about it. It is so easy for us to make sure that our loved ones are a priority, because if not, like now they're whiny or we feel bad or whatever. It was really easy for us to go to the back burner because we'll just deal with it. If we don't tell anybody that we're missing out on something, nobody even knows that we're not happy. We can put on a facade, we can put on the fake, like whatever, that everything's going okay, I'm tough, I can push through. And the difficult part about this is that you just continue to push through. It just keeps happening. It goes on and on and on. It's a story that never ends. And when I was struggling with this, it was because I insisted on getting in as many things as possible during the week so that we could have some downtime on the weekend as a family. I told myself that if I just gotta do it just the 5 days a week so that we can have 2 days off. And in all honesty, it never happened. We would get to the weekend and we would be doing chores all day Saturday. And after 6 days of hustling, we got to the final, like we got our day off Sunday before everybody goes back to work. And all I wanted to do was nap because I was so tired. That was what my view of self-care was at the time, was just to nap. And that was really hard because all I was doing was just like putting on a movie for my kids to watch. And my husband's happy to sit there and just like watch movies. Like nobody complained, but also I had worse mom guilt with that period of my life than I have ever had with taking time for myself outside of the house. Because I know that when I come back from my time, I'm a happy mom. I'm an energetic mom. When the kids tried to wake me up from a nap, I was almost inevitably like in REM sleep and an absolute raging bitch when I woke up. I was not a good mom when I was doing that. I was not a happy person to be around. I was just exhausted all the time. Motivation did not exist. And it took a lot of work with my counselor for me to be able to create the foundation that I stand on today. And it started with the most basic form of self-care. At the time, I felt like I don't even want to tell anybody that this is as little as I'm doing because it's probably like laughable. But in all reality, sometimes that's all we need. It's just a little bitty building blocks for us to be able to start to thrive. So when you have a system that's so basic, one that doesn't rely on extremes or require monthly subscriptions or 5 a.m. wake ups, you can finally actually have an unfailing routine that fills your cup daily. And I know how hard it is to do this alone. I'm 2 years into coaching. I have never completed anything in my entire life on my own. And a lot of that comes from, I need the accountability. I need somebody to hear me say out loud the things that are on my heart. Because if I don't tell somebody that these are my goals, these are my intentions, it's really easy to back out because nobody even knows that I'm quitting. I'm a chronic quitter. I'm a recovering chronic quitter. I can't tell you guys how many times I've wanted to quit coaching. Like, this is hard work sometimes. But it's that default. It's that like, I have doubt and fear and all of these limiting beliefs in my head. And the only reason that I have continued to push through is because I told somebody that this is what I want to do. And it's not just telling anybody. Like, you have to find the right person to share that with, right? Because for a long time, I was surrounded by people that were also struggle busing. They were also lacking motivation. They were not in pursuit of happiness or their goals. And honestly, like I experienced a lot of enabling. It was a lot of like, okay, we'll take a step back and like we'll revisit it. That was their immediate response. There was never like okay, well, like why? Nobody ever asked me why I wanted to step back. And that was the piece that changed the game for me, was to have somebody that could take a minute and just hear why I wanted to step back. Because sometimes stepping back from something is valid. Sometimes you need that space. But sometimes we're making impulse decisions when we are overwhelmed and burnt out, and we question our sanity. I think that that's the biggest thing, is sometimes that like quote just plays in my head, like, insanity is doing the same thing on repeat and expecting a different result. I botched it, whatever it is. It's really hard to stick it through if you're doing it on your own. If you've never told anybody else, like, that inner mean girl, she's an inner mean girl for a reason. And we can kind of learn to make friends with her over time, but sometimes you just really need somebody that can stay in your corner, somebody that can be empathetic when you're struggling and not just like shove you through things, but that they can also share the tough love when you need it. There's a fine line to walk there. And in all honesty, it tends to be somebody that's not your bestie that's going to do it, right? That's why people get coaches, because I always call my coach and my counselor Switzerland. They're an unbiased opinion. They do not benefit or lose out depending on whether I stick with it or not. And that's really powerful. It can make it a hell of a lot easier to see something from start to finish when you have that accountability partner. This is why I am so passionate about stepping away, not stepping away, because I'm not stepping away from the health and fitness side of things, but my main focus is going to be on this mindset coaching, because these are big struggles that people deal with all the time. Like you guys have said, like you're dealing with these all the time. Not everybody has the willpower to sleep on a decision, right? And it makes a big difference to have somebody just work on this, because the rest will come. Everything else will fall into place if you can get this right. And I want to do the giveaway soon. I need to figure out how to do that. I think anybody else that does these on these calls has like a virtual assistant that can go in and do their shit. We're going to have to figure that out as we go. I appreciate your guys' patience with me. I've been talking for a while. But would it be okay if I share a little bit about 5 to Thrive, about the program and how you guys would be able to join? Do you guys have a few more minutes for that? Okay. So I am going to screen share because I had the time to make pretty graphics. That's not a common occurrence over here. Screen share. Okay, you guys can see this? We're good? I have to move some things around. I hate, maybe one day technology and I will get along, but it's not today. So Rise and Thrive is presenting 5 to Thrive, the 5 essential pillars to take you from surviving to thriving. If I open the chat thread, can you guys see this on my screen? Yeah, okay, that's annoying. I'll come into the chat thread after. I can't multitask. So what are the pillars? This is a fun thing that I kind of invented, kind of didn't. The pillars are movement, nourishment, mindset, recharge, and connection. These are the 5 essential things that when I explain it, when I worked on these basic systems with my counselor, we just had 4, just the first 4, except it was called exercise, diet. Sorry, not the first 4, because I have mindset smack dab in the middle there. Exercise, diet, social time, and sleep. And I just felt like those were too specific and restrictive. And there is so much more within these pillars that we can encompass in and include into our routines, into our day. There are things that people tend to have, like those limiting beliefs and those mindset struggles with these activities, right? Some people have that, like, okay, you view movement as like a workout. You need to go to the gym. You need to spend X amount of hours. You need to burn calories, like nutrition. People hear diet and it's restrictive and you're removing things. Mindset is like self-help books. Like these are the like limiting things that we deal with. And what I want to be able to share with you guys is a very different approach to this, with the most basic, the most fundamental part of this program is going to be attacking that all or nothing mentality around all 5. So what you're going to get. So the program 5 to Thrive, we've got 5 pillars and it's going to be over 5 weeks. So what you're going to get is weekly live group coaching sessions, just like this. It's just everybody hanging out, listening to me babble, but creating those mindset shifts, having those aha moments. And the cool thing about this is this interaction, this engagement is what's going to keep you fired up and inspired to take action, so that you aren't wasting time or money on just another program. Because I know that that's something that holds a lot of people back, right? You're like, man, I've done this before. Like, I've invested in a program, I've done this, I've done that. And especially when you feel like time is so precious. When it feels like you're like, hey, I don't really have any more time. That's part of why I wanted to do this time blocking workshop with you guys, because I want to show you that, like, this is important, right? This time to work on you, to learn how to find this flow, is so important. And of course, the recordings are going to be available as always. I'm not the person that's like, be on live or you're going to miss out. I mean, people that aren't on live tonight are going to miss out on the giveaway, but I'm not doing giveaways on the calls within the program. In each call, I'm going to end it with a 15-minute one-on-one coaching session. I think that this is so powerful because you get to help somebody dig deeper into their own personal struggles. But the cool part about this, and this is something that I've experienced with the group coaching that I've participated in, is that when one person is brave enough to be vulnerable and speak up, it's incredible to see how many people relate. Like, everybody's doing the program because they're struggling with it, with something similar, right? And while our stories are all going to be different, there's going to be relatable pieces. So somebody being able to be coached through that can still benefit the entire group. But it's neat because there will be 5 opportunities for 5 different people within the program to be able to create an action plan that feels aligned with their personal goals and core values. They're going to get that little bit of extra, like, one-on-one FaceTime chit-chatting with me. You're also going to get daily check-ins, because we all lack motivation, especially when we're just getting started, and accountability, because I don't want you to feel like you have to go through a single day of this program alone. I want you to feel so supported 7 days a week. The plan with this is to have 2 options. So some people benefit from getting a morning text. If you're the person that's like, I like good morning texts, you're going to get them in the morning, and it'll be like, okay, what are your intentions for the day? What are your goals? Like, tell me what you're going to do. And there will be an option for people that prefer to check in at the end of the day and prefer to say, like, this is how it went, and this is what I would like to make a shift with tomorrow. I'll do a Saturday morning check-in for everybody, just to, like, figure out what your goals are for the whole weekend, what that recharge time is going to look like, and then do a Sunday night. The Sunday night check-in actually for the first round will just be the live group coaching call. So I'll do a check-in there. If anybody is not on the call, I'll make sure to still do that check-in, that text with you, just to remind you as well to check the recording on Monday. It's recommended to do the recordings earlier on in the week because it's going to set the tone for our journal prompts, because I custom built a workbook so that all you guys have to do is fill in the blanks. I don't know about you, but I spend way too much time in the bookstore trying to find, like, the perfect journal. And then I almost always end up spending way too much money, because one journal has this and the other one has that, and I feel like I kind of need both. So now I have multiple books. So I've put everything into one for you guys. There's going to be motivational quotes. There is a daily planner, or it's a weekly planner, as well as a space to do the journaling, so that when we do the weekly coaching sessions, you don't have to write out the prompts that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. And then extra space for note taking, which I feel are, like, all the things that people want. So the value for this, if I were to, like, do this one-on-one with somebody, if I were to spend an hour with somebody every week, it would be $100 a week, $100 an hour kind of thing. And then daily check-ins are like $250 a day kind of thing. Like, you got to pay for texting sometimes. And then the custom built workbook is around $50. That comes from, like, printing costs and shipping and stuff like that. So if I were to do this, like, one person instead of the whole group session, it would be $640. This is what Zoe's skating cost. So, and I know that a lot of people are registering their kids for activities right now, and things are expensive, and it is hard to bring yourself off of the back burner. So I wanted to make it more affordable for everybody. And also it's the first round, so discounts. So what I'm going to do is we're going to knock it down from $100 a week down to $30 a week. And it's only going to be $1 a day to get those texting check-ins and $15 for the workbook. The workbook is a PDF this round because I could not figure out how to find a publishing site that shipped faster than 22 days, which the program is almost over by then. So y'all are getting a discount because I still had to create it, and the PDF is still like a thing. But you'll just have to either use it digitally or print it out yourself. And that'll be $200. But you guys gave me some time tonight, and I really appreciate that. So I'm doing a 24-hour deal for you guys. You're going to get the workbook for free, and you're going to get 10% off. So it'll only be $166 for the full 5-week program. That includes your weekly group coaching sessions, your daily check-ins, and the workbook, and the opportunity to do one-on-one time with me. This deal is only on for 24 hours. So I'll leave it open until like 8:30 tomorrow night. I will drop the link in the chat thread for you guys to be able to go and check it out. And then I also have the discount codes I will plug in there as well. I will make sure to send the link in an email afterwards as well, so that like when this closes, if you didn't copy it, you don't have to like panic. I'm going to stop share because that's the end of the pretty graphics. Sign me up. Okay. I'm just going to scroll up and see what you guys were. Is the workbook just something you'd email to us? Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste some stuff over here really quick, and then I'm going to do this giveaway because I really want to give things to you guys. Also, to the winner, if you don't want an Amazon gift card, I will give you $25 to whatever you want. Like, some people like Lululemon, some people don't. It just whatever is your jam. If you want a new book, then I will happily send you a $25 Kohl's gift card. This is also brand new to me. So if you go to checkout and something is not working, please let me know, because I'm sure I'm going to have bugs to like fix. So this is going to be the discount code for the next 24 hours. Is this 24-hour deal? Oh, I didn't tell you guys. The program starts on Sunday, so we have 4 days. I had a lot of things that like had to be finalized before I could officially like announce the launch date. And you guys were the first to find out, because yesterday was the first day that I finally had all my ducks in a row. Not because I left things to the last minute. And yes, and the draw winners are going to get the first round. The funny thing about that is the website I'm using, I can't enter $0. So technically it'll be $1 for the 4 people that earned it is going to be $1. Still super, super cheap investment for you guys. But yeah, so first launch is going to be this Sunday. When you register, I will be sending more information to you guys. Everybody that does register, you'll get all the details around like what you'll need, when you need to show up. Everything will be on Zoom, and then the recordings will be within the website that I'm using as well. And then this is the discount for anybody that is outside of the 24 hours. So if you're like, oh, I'm not an impulse buyer, like I'm gonna think about it for a couple of days, I'm gonna wait until payday, you can use this. The deadline to register is going to be noon on Sunday, because I have to get everybody set up and get everybody links and access and all that stuff. So I know that like within the health and fitness community, lots of people are like, I'm only taking these many clients, and they're trying to build that FOMO. I actually am like, cutoff is noon on Sunday because I have to have everybody set up. This is something that I really want people to not feel frazzled and overwhelmed with. So being able to get everybody set up accurately is going to be very important. I do not have an attendance limit. I want to create a big impact and I want to see how it goes in the first round. I want everybody's feedback and opinions, and the more the merrier, especially the first time around. So with that, we are going to do the giveaway super quick. I'm going to see how am I going to navigate this? We can, oh, it all shows up on one screen, so that's perfect. So I'm just going to tap. Did I even hit the screen? I did. Erin, I opened up yours. This is the best I could do, you guys. Next time I will have somebody hired to like handle a giveaway because I'm sure there are better systems. Erin, if you want to pop it in the chat thread, what you would like for a gift card. I think that I have your email somewhere. I know that I have your email because you got this link. Just kidding. If you want to pop that in there, I will send you the gift card as soon as we get off of this call. Thank you guys so much for giving me an hour of your time. Wow, I talked a lot. I'm like, my default is to say I'm sorry. I'm going to stop the recording here.